Hello, and lovely to have you with me again. This time the talk is a little different in that I want to use a rosary, but merely as a means to help us to think about a far greater question. And so I ask those of you who are not Catholic not to be put off by the fact that I'm using the rosary for this example, but to look at the message that I'm trying to give behind this action. So the rosary I'm talking about would be this one that I'm showing you now. And for those of you who know rosaries, many are made of chain, and then they have quite decorative beads sometimes, or very nicely formed beads and so on, and a crucifix at the end. So this one, as you can see, is far simpler than that. It's simply made of string with some very basic plastic beads, and it has a major defect in that the crucifix is broken off of the rosary itself. And this was just because of use with carrying the rosary around for some time during my life. Why I wanted to talk about this particular rosary is that if I were to offer it to you as a gift, which is not the point of this, but if I were to offer it to you as a gift, you may look at it and say, now why would he be giving me such a simple rosary, such obviously inexpensive rosary, and also one with a major defect to it? And this is quite a normal reaction with us when we look at things that we're given in life. But you see, if you know the story behind this rosary, you would suddenly see it completely differently. Because I'm not the first owner of this rosary. I'm at least the third owner that I know of. And the second last owner of this rosary before me was Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And suddenly, if you think, well, this was Mother Teresa of Calcutta's rosary at one time, we look at it completely differently. And suddenly, this gift would take on a whole different meaning, and it would take on a whole different value for us. The point being that, as I said, with this rosary, although it may at face value appear to be defective and not of any great importance, knowing its origin is very important to us. How I came about this rosary was that when Mother Teresa came to South Africa the first time to establish a convent, I was rather fortunate in that a church that I had designed and overseen the building of in a place called Khayelitsha in Cape Town was the first place that she came to, and she held a press conference there and everything else. So that was her arrival in South Africa. And she wanted to set up a convent in the area, and it was quite a marvelous experience to be involved with that, in that the materials basically arrived without us paying for them. People were only too happy to contribute because it was her. And what happened was that for the first while there was no parish priest yet in the area, I would go once a week, even once the place was built, and give her sisters a meditation once a week in their prayer time. And so I was quite involved with them. When I was leaving South Africa to come to Italy, or when I was leaving Khayelitsha, and they had a parish church and so on, parish priest, and they no longer needed me to go out there for them, the Mother Superior, who obviously being a person of the order of Mother Teresa had nothing of her own to give me, said to me, I want to give you this rosary because when Mother Teresa left me here to open this convent and to start our mission in South Africa, she left me her rosary, which is this one. And since I have nothing else to give you to thank you for what you've done for us, I would like to give you this rosary in turn. And so obviously I was very pleased to receive such a gift. And so with this rosary, what I was wanting us to think about is the fact that when we look at the gifts that we receive from God, the people that we receive from God that come into our lives, if we can look at them in what they really are and not what they appear to be on the surface, we can see them very differently. We can come to know that they are actually a great gift, despite any defects they may have, if we can see them as God's children, they take on a whole new meaning, a whole new value for us. Can you imagine if the view of this simple rosary, knowing that it was originally Mother Teresa's, could change how we look at it altogether and allow us to overlook its defects and its inexpensive construction and see the deeper value in it? How much more knowing that all of those that we meet, whether we find them easy to get on with or not, whether we think they're good or not so good people, all of those people, if we can see that they're God's children, how differently we would value them, how differently we would appreciate the great value that is in each of them. And so I hope that this very simple example can help us all to look at people in a new light, to value them as children of God, and so to treat them in a more Christian way and to love them in a Christian way. And may God bless you. Thank you.